Hey guys, welcome to part 2 of building a better brand, focusing your brand. There are lots of questions involved in this section, but I promise they'll help you focus your brand and give you a lot of insight on how to reach your audience more effectively. Let's get started. So first, we need to find out who you are. If you're going to tell your audience a story about themselves, it's definitely helpful to know your own. And more often than not, your story will be similar to your audience's story. So let's start by asking the hard questions. I actually suggest getting something to write on or maybe to type your answers into for this one. First, what are you passionate about? List a few things here that get you really excited. Write down what gets you up in the morning. I even like to ask this question. If someone handed you a $1 million check, what would you do? Next, how can you partner your passions with a product? Or if you already have a product, how can you incorporate the things you're passionate about into that product? This is a pretty key idea because finding ways to do what you're passionate about will drastically increase your longevity. So if you don't have a product yet, get creative with your answers to our first question. What are you passionate about? And ask yourself, how can I turn this into a product or a service? Next, what value do you offer others? How can you improve the life of your audience? Can you teach them how to do something, take a common task off their plate, make day-to-day life easier? What is the real value that you could offer them? And lastly, what product or service are you offering? After taking the previous 3 questions into account, you should be ready to determine your product. So what are you selling? Is it a product, a service, a digital good, a physical product? What is it your audience is supposed to purchase by the end of their interaction with you? Next, what are you selling? We're going to dive a bit deeper here, but let's start with the answer to your last question. What product or service are you offering your audience? Are you selling them goods like an e-course or downloadable prints? Are you selling physical goods like clothing or jewelry? Do you sell customizable products? What is it you're selling them if it's a physical or a digital product here? And next, what value is your audience seeking from you? When you take your product and boil it all the way down to its most core element, what about it is appealing to your audience? For example, when people purchase a font or a template, why are they buying it? Is it for style, convenience, saving time? This goes back to part 1 and telling your audience a story about themselves. When people buy a font, they aren't just buying a downloadable file. They're downloading the ability to make their work look as great as the samples. When you buy a set of new Flyknit Nikes, you're not buying the shoes, you're buying athleticism. So what story are you inviting your audience into, and what story are they looking to be a part of? Now, sell it to them. And this takes us into what are you selling? Not your product, not your service, but the value. How do you offer your audience the value they're seeking? For example, I sell e-courses and design resources, but I'm really selling convenience. I'm selling knowledge, empowerment, the ability to do something on your own. I'm selling independence. Sometimes you'll hear me refer to this as your why, because what you're selling should be what's left when you boil down every one of your products. And that answers the question of why I offer the products I do. How do you offer your audience the value they're seeking? So take the answers to all of these questions and dig really deep to find the common thread and determine, what do you sell? And the answer to this question is necessary to craft your elevator pitch. Everybody needs an elevator pitch. I cannot even begin to tell you how often people ask what I do, only to hear me bounce around the million tiny things I'm working on while completely forgetting to tell them what I actually do. This is where you need an elevator pitch. An elevator pitch is a quick 1 to 3 sentence statement designed to filter through all the clutter so that when you boil everything down, your audience understands what it is you really do. It's laser focused on your main goals while still leaving room to pique your listeners' interest. It should summarize what you do while also setting you apart from the crowd. And this is where you tell people not about your product, but about what we discussed a minute ago, what you sell. Now, by the end of this lesson, you should have your very own elevator pitch. But don't take this task lightly. Your elevator pitch is crazy important and you'll use it all the time. So let's look at a few examples to help get an idea of what a great elevator pitch looks like. Warby Parker. We offer designer eyewear at a revolutionary price while leading the way for socially conscious businesses. Okay, Warby Parker. That's awesome. In one sentence, we know exactly what they do and exactly why they do it. Designer eyewear should be affordable. We should all work to help change the world around us for the better. Well done. Emily Aries from Bossed Up. As the founder and CEO of Bossed Up, I help women beat burnout and achieve sustainable success. Now this is great because, again, we in a few words know the why behind Bossed Up. We don't know exactly yet how she helps women beat burnout and achieve sustainable success, just like we don't know exactly what Warby Parker's eyewear looks like. But we're interested because the why is very strong. She's clearly communicating what she sells, and our interest is piqued. Now let me say this again. Your elevator pitch doesn't have to include a list of your products, but it should communicate what you sell, your why. Because products change all the time, but your why should remain consistent throughout. IKEA. At IKEA, our vision is to create a better everyday life for the many people. Our business idea is to offer a wide range of well-designed, functional home furnishing products at prices so low that as many people as possible will be able to afford them. It really doesn't get much clearer than that. Create a better everyday life with affordable furniture that everyone can have access to. Great elevator pitch, easy to understand, and that's what they really do. Let's dive a little deeper into your audience's mind before crafting your own elevator pitch. How well do you actually know your audience? Now, I want you to put yourself in your customer's shoes for a moment and ask yourself, what are my pains, frustrations, passions, and desires? What do I believe about this industry? Well, let's say you're a photographer. Your audience may find the booking process painful. They may be frustrated with the lack of an availability calendar or pricing on your site to help them make quick decisions. They may be passionate about creating a beautiful home and desire for their family photos to be a design staple in their home. You can also approach it this way. I'm frustrated with blank. I wish there was a way to blank. So for the photographer's audience, this may be, I'm frustrated with finding a photographer that has the availability I need and having to go back and forth over email to learn that information. I wish there was a way to book a photographer without having to check if their schedule matches mine. Now let's say this leads you, the photographer, to use Calendly or a similar app on your site to help clients book pre-approved slots in your calendar, which is a fantastic differentiator in the world of photography and booking, by the way. Hint, hint, photographers. Your elevator pitch could advertise this differentiator while identifying your audience's pains and completely resolving them all in one go. We create bright and beautiful photographs on your schedule in order to make the road from photo shoot to picture frame as simple as it should be. Or let's also try design. So when I look at my audience's pains, frustrations, passions, and desires, I arrive at these core beliefs that my audience may have about design. Great design is too hard to do, it's too expensive to learn, and it's too frustrating to outsource. I wish there was a way to make great design accessible to non-designers. Now, if you're still having a hard time, here's some basic structure to help you create your elevator pitch. We do blank for blank in order to blank. So for my company and the products I offer, it would look a lot like this. We create design resources for self-starters and entrepreneurs in order to make great design easy and accessible. Using this template will not only help you craft your elevator pitch, but help create a filter for all of your content and marketing, ensuring it pertains to what you do, who you do it for, and what your goal is in the end. So you have your elevator pitch. Now what? Find out in part 3 of Building a Better Brand.